Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Eye Opener Society. Thank you again for tuning in. Thank you for joining us. I hope you've been with us for the past few weeks. Been a lot going on, especially my little trip down to Appalachian Rootworks, rooted in ruins in Cynthiana, Kentucky. We cannot forget about them because they really opened my eyes over the weekend, and I had, celebrated so many amazing things with them. And alongside of that, I want to also thank, depending when you're listening to this show, we're going to have a new release from Ann Lund and Haunted and Waiting. Very much looking forward to that. Got that ready and scheduled to go. And we're still sitting waiting on Sunset Child. Can't wait till Sunset Child can bring us some stuff. And I want to also thank Hannah Rose from The Sound Within, along with Elaine from Arcane Oracle. So sitting and thinking about some things as we're going into this whole new year, this fire horse and all the things that are going on. And depending where you live, like me, there's been crazy weather things, which I all think is manipulated anyway. Lizzie and I, on our last show, we spoke about relationships because I started noticing, especially with people close to me, a lot of relationships are coming to this fiery end. And even Lizzie had revealed that she's going through, the same sort of thing. And we spoke a lot about it, and I don't like to repeat shows, but I feel that this is important enough where we need to start touching on some more things. So let's welcome Lizzie. Lizzie, how you doing?
Good, just super excited to be here again for another episode.
Yeah, for sure. It's always exciting to have you here. I'm so glad. And for those that don't know, I know at the beginning it was always difficult, and Lizzie and I, we got to make appointments to even text each other and all. But now Lizzie and I might as well promote the Marco Polo app. She turned me on to it, and we have been spending, tons of our time together, and it's an amazing thing because there's so many things that are coming up that Lizzie and I are involved in, and all of the talk that we've been having has really bonded us, and it's been giving each other so many ideas. Well, because of that, I think that too qualifies as a relationship, does it not?
I could agree. I think people take that word just like a little too weird in the patriarchal sense.
Yeah, it does. I don't think people understand relationships are very, very minute. I know somebody and I care about them to tight, tight friendships, all the way up to the whole paper marriage that we spoke about before. So it runs a full gamut. Keeping these things alive, though, fresh, new, that's the important part of it because we can't keep developing relationships, no matter how small, and then losing it based upon stupidity, based upon outside influences or whatnot. Um, Although even so, at times people do get together, and chances are they probably shouldn't have in the first place. I understand that happens too. Happened with my first marriage. We were two completely different people that should have never bound together, especially in the paper version of marriage.
Well, I think that's something that really happens a lot because people take the term relationship and they really tie it into sex and love forever, right? Like that's your number one relationship and all other relationships kind of fall around in whatever you have space for around that like one thing. And I think it confuses a lot of things because as humans we're not really designed to be reliant on 2 people. I think that's why a lot of people are having so many problems in their relationships of all sense of the word right now, is because I think collectively we're moving much more into a community mindset. We're supposed to have 5 or 6 close people around us, you know what I mean? Whether at work, friends, partners, whatever it is that you're doing. Because like us Marco Poloing, for example, you have such a different perspective on the world. You've experienced such a different sense of things that when I talk to you about these like cosmic truths that I'm exploring and you give me like your perspective, it has to shift mine. You know what I mean? And even if it's not cosmic theory, even like last night we were talking more like real world stuff, right? But even then, it's a whole different perspective. It gets to broaden my awareness. But if you're only talking to one person all the time because 'cause they're, like, your partner, it, like, messes things up. This is something that's always been very important to me is to be open to friendships, and I think the Marco Polo app has been amazing. I'm gonna also promote it because I loved it for years. Because 'Cause we've been chatting for, like, what have we been friends for, like, 8 months or something at this point?
Mhm.
But you cannot get in depth into, like, your personal stories and your thoughts and trying to connect all these different things through a text message, you know what I mean? But with something like Marco Polo, and I'm sure there's a bunch of other things that you can do too, even just like the Zoom calls, you don't have to limit it to people that you can hang out with. You know what I mean? Like I'm meeting so many beautiful people from across this whole nation, across this whole world on TikTok and other places, and it's just in today's age, I think everybody's waking up to the fact that we're just supposed to be a lot more of a community and less of a little dynamic, you know?
That is true, and then what happens with that, depending on your partner, and like I said, it's very broad for us, and Lizzie brought up a good point before we hit record. We don't know what's going on with our audience. So individual people are all going through individual phases or processes or their tower moments. So what I really wanted to focus on was just trying to get a broader idea of everything. So as Lizzie was saying, this society and the fact that we're all coming together like a community and all, there's sometimes that throws a big wrench into a personal relationship. This entire idea of ownership and all that we spoke about on our last episode, we need to start throwing that idea out the window. It should have never been something that started in the first place. Marriage is not an ownership. Friendships are not an ownership. You don't own a person, you don't run their lives based on that. So I understand a lot of times in a relationship, if you should have a friend, especially a friend of an opposite sex, it kinda throws this mess in, and I never understood that because throughout life, I had many friends, and most of my friends happen to be female. It's just the way it works for me. My wife, when she makes friends, she's usually making friends with male friends. I've never seen it as an issue, but that's me personally. Lizzie, I know for a fact, would not see that as a problem. However, I think on a broader scale, the way we are brought up, the way we are raised, the way we're taught with relationships, it becomes an ownership. And because you're with a person, that person now cannot speak to anybody outside of the relationship.
Well, you also have a very community-based mindset. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And so this is something that I've deconstructed a lot. People who tend to get jealous in relationships like that, they put all their stability in their one person. That's how it's supposed to be. Your finances are all tied up, your dreams, your hopes for the future, all of it's in this one person. And so it's hard, like, you know what I mean? If you haven't deconstructed that kind of stuff and put a lot of power and reliability in of yourself, then it's like it turns into a threat to your security. Do you know what I mean? Because, things happen or whatever, and so your brain can get all crazy. But it really comes down to the fact that you gotta put more power into yourself and the broad community than, like, worrying about what your partner's doing.
Yes, I like that concept because that's sometimes just to get the words together on that, you're kind of like walking on eggshells because yes, your entire life is now bound together with your partner. Like you said, financially and everything else, it's all you're focused now too much
Or can
on
be.
here now. Yeah, so you're together, but so just because now somebody else enters in from the outside, just as a friend, and someone to break up the monotony. Let's be real. No matter where you are, no matter how happy you may be in a relationship, somebody from the outside can break up that monotony and add a little bit more broadness to the things you explore. Because let's face it, we sometimes get together with a partner. That partner may not be into every single thing that we are into. I could sit and talk to my wife, but I have to talk to her on the level that her and I are on. So when I get with you, Lizzie, I know we can talk about all the cosmic shit, like, in detail because we just happen to be on that same frequency. That doesn't take away anything, not a damn thing from what I have with my wife, but
It's
this
supposed
does
to enrich it.
enrich it.
Now
Exactly.
now you have new ideas that you can come back to, you know what I mean? And that's the whole, I think, point that I'm getting to, is that it's like everybody wants to put all their Easter eggs in one single basket.
I like it. Yeah, and it's what I was trying to describe because when we talk about relationships, and I don't always like talking about relationships. I don't like being thrown in other people's relationships, being that person to tell someone, this is the way you need to do it. It does not work that way. I don't know every single intimate thing that goes on in everybody's life. However, even Lizzie and we sat here for a second or two before hitting record saying, how do we help people? What do we say? What type of advice? Where do we guide them? How do we do it from a cosmic level? How do we do it from a simple normie style? I don't think we came up with anything really.
No, not really. The only thing I could think is to, if you feel like you're in chaos and you don't know what to do, you gotta get out of it for just a minute, let all the feelings flow, and then give yourself some time, because whenever feelings are going, you can't really decide what you wanna be doing. You know what I mean? You have to come to a center of peace and allow things to make sense from inside your head.
Right, and like you said, find that time, find that a way to get away for a weekend, find an hour or so to hide in a car or something and just
Mhm.
collect your thoughts and really analyze everything.
I get
And oh,
I get
sorry,
cutting you
what?
off today. I'm so sorry.
No, I like it, your energy. If you got something to say it, man. Um, but yeah, analyze everything because if you're going to sit and come up with this idea that everything that's happening, I gotta get away, go with that flow. Again, everybody's going through these tower moments. That tower's on fire. It's crumbling. It's going to fall. Are you gonna stay in it or are you going to bail, save face, and move on with your life?
Yes, exactly. Because truly, I what I've learned about tower moments is no matter what chaos seems to be happening, it usually happens because you asked for something. You're trying to move forward, and there's parts of your world that are not allowing you to move forward, either in the way that they're structured or them entirely or whatever. And tower moments always seem to be this, like, thing that happens after you start going for something better for yourself, and then everything has to restructure. But it's so easy to get caught and try to fix and hold everything as it's going, but that really just fucks it up. Like, you've got to just kind of let it let it fall how it falls, and always it ends up being way better than you could have imagined.
Yep, and the other thing that just crossed my mind too, communication, those lines
Mm.
have to be open 110%. Communication is key to anything. If I'm feeling something, I need to go right to my wife and be able to just say it and lay it down, and she has that same right to come to me with whatever it is that's on her mind and talk to me about it. And that's the way we've lived our relationship since we started it. That is a key, and I don't think many people have that open line of communication. And then what happens if you cannot talk to your partner, and I run to say you, and I talk to you, I should be able to tell my wife exactly everything that I'm talking to you about. Those lines of communications need to be open.
Yeah, we've talked a lot about that, about when you do have lots of different relationships and stuff like that, radical authenticity and radical honesty. And if you're not pursuing those to the best of your ability and learning as you go, then is everything's gonna get kind of messy. You're gonna create your own tower moments because you want all these beautiful happy relationships, right? But you really, really can't get those without authenticity and honesty. You excited about something?
I am so sorry if you're not seeing me on camera. I just got the text message that I don't have to go to work tomorrow. So hooray. Yeah, see, that's my relationship. That's communication right there. Sorry
Like from
about
the
that.
cosmos.
I'm totally distracting Lizzie as I'm reading my text.
I was just excited for you.
Yeah, for sure. Um, so yeah, when we look, I think, well, no, I know relationships are beautiful, extremely beautiful. Um, especially, especially if you're in that level of marriage or even if it is paper marriage, they're wonderful. They're beautiful. They're sacred. But sometimes that sacredness can lose its ability to do what it did at the beginning. I know that because I went through twice already. You start off with something beautiful, and as time goes on, things do change. There's nothing at all. I can't tell people that everything's going to last forever. It's nice to think that, but yeah, things do break down though over time, and you have to understand that. And that's where communication comes in, saying, "Are we going to continue this journey, or are we going to have to, take two separate roads?"
Yeah, and I think at least for me, the way that I handle things in all of my relationships is can I be myself? Can I be honest? Can I grow? Do they see me? Can I see them? You know what I mean? Is it something that's actually enjoyable? Because when you're making yourself small in one way or another, it just honestly, especially if you're trying to manifest your dream life, it's going to show you all the places you're making yourself small. You just gotta kinda let it all shift and go after what you want, and all of the relationships are gonna either blossom or shift or whatever, and if you can just kinda hold them in the beautiful space that they are and not try to define and choose what they're going to be, I think people will actually find themselves a lot happier.
Yeah, and that alone too, because like I said, I hold my relationship, my marriage sacred as well. And then I have friends and there's different levels of friendships and all. But lately, and I'll freely admit this, our relationship, you and I, Lizzie, means something. I mean, and I don't want to break that up because I don't know how to separate it from my marriage or any other relationship
And
I may have.
that's where you come in with, open honesty, and, and, like, I talked to you about, like, talking to Melissa about making sure she can always come to me if she feels like we're talking too much or something, you know what I mean? If I ever make her uncomfortable, I think it also messes a little bit when you've got like a relationship or a friend or whatever, and people argue and they have different perceptions, and then it just makes everything messy. But I think we're in a world right now where people are actually learning how to be themselves and ask what they want and not do all these things. I think everybody very standardly goes into like when chaos hits, they want to mentally and energetically kind of take control of the situation and fix everything. But really, you just got to be like, oh, I'm having a problem. Or, oh, this made me feel a certain way. You know what I mean? And that's the thing is I'm not here to talk bad about marriage. Like it's beautiful and it should be sacred for all people who want to partake in it. But it's just not supposed to be a limit. It's supposed to be an advantage, a teamwork. And I think you and Melissa, of all the things that we've talked about, you guys do that so beautifully. You guys just love each other. You guys just let each other be yourselves and grow and evolve as you guys do. It doesn't take away from each other. You guys don't seem to be like defining that. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And
That's
so that leaves you
exactly.
space to grow other relationships and other dynamics.
Yeah, it does, and I'm very, very happy and proud of that too, because that's the way I feel about life to begin with, and I wouldn't want a partner that's not going to experience that same journey with me. So as I'm sitting here absorbing this, I'm sitting thinking, "Ooh, are we talking about things that are probably very sore right now to our audience that maybe they are going through something like that?" And are we, like, ripping a Band-Aid off, you know? Are we exposing their feelings?
Yeah, that one's hard because you almost kinda gotta rip the Band-Aid off.
Yeah,
Bleed a little, you know?
it's
Then you see what
true.
you need.
Yeah, and I think that's where we probably can say that's where the lesson is. That's what we can help with, you know, is maybe just get it into your mind that you are just as important in your relationship as your partner. So both of you need to start communicating. If you cannot communicate, if neither party, if they're just sitting there nah, 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 not listening, that's not going to work. That's it. That's the sign of the tower moment right there. That's when you need to bail.
For sure. For sure. You gotta unconditionally love yourself first. That means that, are they giving the love back? But then you gotta love other people unconditionally too. And I'd really like to challenge our listeners to explore that word because I don't know if anybody, including myself, really knows what that means to truly love without condition, without edit. That's one's been a fun one to meet for me to explore this past year.
Yeah, and, let me also put a little bit more perspective into that because it's one thing to say with your partner unconditional love, but then again, you've used that term with me many times when it comes to your children. I mean, it's a whole different ball game when it comes to children. That should and absolutely is unconditional love right there.
Well, challenging that one with our audience, I guess. Um, Yeah, sure, you love them all unconditionally, but do you alter your attitude based on their behavior? Are you trying to the more you spend trying to make them into the strong, independent person in the world, the more you're accidentally gonna edit their natural evolvement. And so although you love them unconditionally, a lot of times in even dynamics with children, people's energetic love that will, like, what they're bringing to the table, where they're directing it, what they're trying to do with it, is also very much so in editing their kids.
I like it, and it's a lot to take in, especially for someone who don't have kids. I got stuff. It's I always throw something out there, I stick a foot in my mouth, so thank you for clearing it up, Lizzie. I appreciate it. Um, but yeah, I wanna leave it, though, like that, especially because the audience, you may be absorbing all of this, you may be going through your own tower moments, you may be on a path where everything is fine, which is great, so keep that path going, and that's what Lizzie and I wish for you. But I just feel right now, especially all the people that are in my life, the other relationships that I have, people that I'm close to, and I hear these things, it's never fun. It's never fun because I know the hardest, and I'll put it to you this way: the hardest part is that exact moment when you know it's over. That's it. Anything beyond that, it gets easier, right? You know, that whole split, and again, that's where that paper marriage comes in. All the legalities of it, the financials of it, the taxes of it. That's the only thing that's really creating the chaos. Once you're free of something that you no longer wanna be a part of, that's the easy part.
Yeah, I think you said that really well. I don't know if I have anything to add to that.
Okay, that's good, that's good. So I wanna leave it there, but, I'll give a little, uh, look into the future because Lizzie and I, we were talking about this since I've been experiencing it so much, we were continuing this, conversation. So we had an idea, and it's a matter of getting somebody on this show. I'm going to try again, and if it does work, great. If not, guess what? Lizzie and I can handle it. We wanted to shift everything to a very adult themed uh, episode involving sex because when it comes to a relationship, that's always something that's going to be a part of it.
Yes, and it's, honestly so important to deconstruct in yourself, and I guess we'll have to wait for that episode, but, so many of your emotions and emotional wounds and stuff all come up into sex, and so that one alone can just throw off any relationship, and so I'm really excited to explore that one. But yeah, I do
Exactly.
think it would be fun to put a couple more people in here, you know what I mean? Get a
Mhm.
lot of different views.
Right, and that's where we were working on because there is someone out there that, I discovered who deals exactly with that, and I would love to have that kind of professional, um, thought process going on behind my childish one and Lizzie's, open relationship one, so yeah. So, we're trying to get that together for you, just to continue this theme and because it's all oneness really when it comes to ourselves, relationships, and this is oneness, and sex is part of that. So we're putting that together. So it's just something for you guys, the audience, to be looking forward to. Put to put the kids to bed early. It's going to be an extreme show because we're going
We'll
to explore.
we'll give you a warning at the start of
There
it.
will be many, many warnings and disclaimers on there. So with that, I want to thank Lizzie again. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for everything that you lend to this show. Thank you, though, for your friendship and the relationship that we have. It means a lot to me, and I'm 100% honest with that. And I thank my wife, Melissa, too, because when we were down at Appalachian Rootworks, Melissa actually did a podcast with the show Without a Candle. I can't wait till that's together, and I have a link, and I gotta contact them, and I wanna get it on my show as well, so beautiful things are happening. Lizzie, you're beautiful in every single way. We all love you. I know the audience loves you, so, we'll continue shining in our own relationship, and we're gonna use that because it's right here. I can't say exactly what you and I are building because I gotta wait until it's all in place before we make that announcement, but it's going to come, and it's really important because we're going to use everything to help you, the audience, at some point or another. So you'll probably find that out on Without a Candle too, as well, because I made that announcement to them. And hopefully by the time that episode gets out, at least I got something tangible. It's so annoying when I can't talk about something. I got to gag order on myself until it's out. But anyway, thank you, Lizzie. I appreciate everything.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me on the show. I love you. I love the audience. I'm just having so much fun being here.
That's great. We all are. Thank you very much. And thank you so much to the audience. Thank you so much to our entire society. And we will see you all next Monday.